Hello, so today's video is going to be about how I revise economics. Now, I just want to add a quick disclaimer, I haven't yet done my A-level, so there's no guarantee that these tips will work, but I thought they're useful to share now rather than after the exams, seeing as if you're doing the exam this year then maybe these tips can help you. The first thing I use is uplearn. Now, you could get this, but at such a late stage I don't know if it's worth it for this year. Maybe if you're watching this and you're taking your exams next year, then I definitely recommend it. You can pay for it weekly, I think, so you could still get it now, and if you want to boost then I would recommend it, but it is expensive. So on uplearn, what I've done is gone through all the videos on there for all the topics for micro and macroeconomics, and then to start like building up my knowledge, there's a recall section on there, and it basically is just like all the small bits that like it won't give you much understanding, but once you build up the understanding from the videos, it's good for like factors of stuff, just quick like fire, how it affects a consumer or how it affects a producer. So I think that's really useful as just a like starting to build up your knowledge. And the videos on uplearn are really good in terms of just like being that quick consolidation. They go through everything relatively fast, especially if you put it at 2 times speed. I would definitely recommend at least 1.5 speed, just so you can get through them quicker. And I think even if you're really confused about a topic, they always explain it in such a simple way that, I don't know, for me it's really helped. So secondly is notes. Now, if you don't have uplearn, I would recommend having a source of notes, just because I think with uplearn you can get away with not having notes. You can just start straight away with practicing and recalling knowledge, and then if you need to work out what the answer is because you've forgotten, you can just go watch the videos. Whereas if you don't have uplearn, then you need some source of finding what the answer is when you're starting to learn the information. Now, I'd say for economics there is actually a decent amount of online resources out there, like study guides and stuff. So I'd say, and it depends what point you are in the year, like if you're quite early on, then it's up to you whether you want to make notes or not. I'd say at this... Okay, sorry for the change of scenery when I'm back in my room but against a white... well, it's my bed, but anyway, there's too noisy downstairs. I think what I was saying is that I wouldn't, if you're at this point and you're doing your A-levels right now, I wouldn't bother spending this time writing notes. I mean, it depends on your situation, but if you can afford a study guide, just get the one I have. This one. We paid for this through school, so I don't actually know how much it is, but it's just got like notes and a couple of questions, which is quite useful as well. And I would say it's better than the textbook I have, but this can be your textbook depending on what textbook you have. We have two. We have one that's really summarised notes and then one that's really waffly. So if your textbook's really waffly, then I would say it's not the best, just because if you're trying to find information quickly, you want to see the key points quickly. But the other one we have is quite nicely summarised. So I say if you can get your hands on one of them rather than having to write out notes, especially at this point of the year, I would. And even at other points, I'd say for me, I wish I'd have written, well, I don't know, it depends. My notes have been useful to an extent, but I think I could have used a study guide, and if I'd have been learning as I was going along maybe more rather than writing the notes, maybe that would have been more helpful. But this is all in retrospect, and loads of people say, oh, write notes as you go along, so I think it does depend on the subject and whether you can find revision resources for your subject easily, because if not, then definitely want notes. The next thing I'm doing to actually learn the information is I go through all the specification. I've done macro for my last mock, and now this mock I have micro, just after I come back after Easter. What I do is actually start at the beginning of the spec and go through every section doing like a page mind map, an A4 page, but sometimes I have to do 2 pages because topics are bigger, or 3 even, per like topics, so 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, etc. And just like go through the spec points and see if I can remember them. Trying especially like is a bit difficult and a bit annoying, but if you see something and it has the like list of what you need to remember, like I don't know, like this is macro but like strategies for development or something, it usually has them listed. If you can try and like see the strategy and then like stop looking and try and butt them out on the page, before you look at it, obviously that's great because that's something you need to learn. It won't be there in the exam. But yeah, just go through it and like see what you know, see what you don't know. And when you don't know something, then go to whatever form of notes you have, whether that be uplearn, your study guide, your notes, and fill in the gaps. And I would say, well, for me, I am doing this in quite a summarised way, so I'm kind of taking out the understanding bit. So obviously if there is a topic where I'm really unsure on, then I will go back and watch uplearn videos on it or read through my notes. But for the most part, it is just like the key facts, because I can always fill in the rest of the information by myself in my head, but those key facts are the bits that I feel like you just forget, like factors of this or like economies of scale or the different types. Like it's easy to forget those kind of key bits, but once you know what they are, I feel like when you know the subject content well and you understand it, then you can fill in why like this economy of scale does whatever. So I thought I'd just show you some of my mind maps I've done. So as you can see, I just put a little topic in the middle, and then I branch off with all the different sections on the spec, and then all the purple bits is bits I've had to fill in that I don't know, and I think it's really helpful to do it in a different colour, just so that when you look at it you can visually see like, right, I didn't know that, need to go over that. And then for my last exams, my mock exams, I then had these mind maps because I did this literally a couple of days before the exam, whereas now I've done it like 2 weeks before my exam. So I probably will do this whole process again closer to the exam, just to top up and check I do know everything again. But what I then did was make like a list of questions specifically testing the bits that I didn't know and that are in purple, that then I can go back and test myself, and then if I miss them then make another list and go back and test them, because I think it's the testing thing that helps. Like just reading through the purple bits probably isn't gonna like make much difference. I think writing them in and like filling them in the gaps does make quite a bit of a difference, because I find that I can do that and then the next time I do remember them better, but just reading it probably isn't going to help that much. And then the third thing is of course exam practice. I'd say of course exam practice is important, and try and do as many past papers as you can, but either before this like mind map kind of process thing, so that you can initially check knowledge, or after. I haven't done really many yet, especially for micro, but that is my next step of revision. I'd say especially all the like section A short answer bits, just do as many of them as you can find, if you can find any online. Uplearn does have past papers, so that helps as well, but it kind of gets mad at you if you don't do the whole past paper, so that's slightly annoying. Like if you just do section A, then it like drops your score and stuff, but whatever. And then if you're not feeling up to doing a whole paper, I would just say plan all the section B stuff, because in the similar way of like the mind mapping, just doing the facts kind of rather than as much of the explaining, if you can make a plan. For me, the hardest thing in the exam is when I see the question and I have no idea what to put and I'm there like racking my brain to find points. If you could just get that first stage as something that you can do relatively easy and you actually have the knowledge in your head, then at least you've got somewhere to then build off of when you're writing the full essay and fill in the gaps, I feel like. So that's really helpful for me, is just to plan it. And then of course you should do some full exam practice papers for timing, for just practicing like doing the whole thing. Yeah, I think obviously that's really important. I think those are the main things I'd say as tips to revise and what I've been using, and hopefully they work out for the exams. I hope this was helpful in any way, and if you do have any more questions, not that I can guarantee I'll be able to answer them, but if you do, comment them down below, or if you're studying economics then comment down below, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, bye.